Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing of the month of Ramadan. And we send peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, upon his family, his companions, and all those who call to his way to the Day of Judgment. And we begin with the greeting words of the righteous. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, all praises are due to Allah. The month of Ramadan is moving along, and Muslims are moving with it. Alhamdulillah, we are moving through the first part of the month, and we are going toward the middle of the month. And by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people have been able to fast all throughout the planet. But we need to begin to look deeper into the meanings and the virtues in this month. That is the beauty of Islam, that it gives us not only a surface meaning, but there are deeper levels, deeper dimensions of meaning and understanding that the believers can benefit from. The great ulama of Islam have identified at least 3 dimensions of the fasting itself. And we'd like to look at these dimensions to begin to try to understand how we can raise the level of our fasting, how we can benefit from the deeper lessons that comes from the fast and from the deeper blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes to the believers. The first level of fasting that the great ulama have identified, or the first dimension, we can call Sawm al-Awam. And that is the fast of the masses of the people. That is the basic fast where the Muslim believer, male or female, is struggling with the basic functions of the body. And so the fast itself becomes a physical fast. The individual then struggles with the food, with the drink. They think about the time of iftar as though it is the Day of Judgment. They look towards their watches constantly. And so it is a basic fast. It is a general fast. The Prophet ﷺ, who did not speak from himself, who gave guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has given us a basic understanding of this dimension and encouraged his followers to rise out of the dimension to a higher level. In a tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, he has informed us, رُبَّ صَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنْ صِيَامِهِ إِلَّا الْجُوعَ وَرُبَّ قَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنْ قِيَامِهِ إِلَّا السَّهَرِ. This hadith reported in Ibn Majah and the Musnad of Imam Ahmed and Al-Hakim as authentic hadith. The Prophet, peace be upon him, has informed us there are many who fast but get nothing out of their fast but hunger. And there are many who stand up in prayer and gain nothing from their prayers except sleeplessness. So the Prophet ﷺ was pointing us towards something deeper than the struggle that goes on to fight our hunger and to fight our thirst. Many Muslims today look upon the fast as a burden. They don't recognize the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't recognize that this fast is actually lightening our load. It is not putting difficulty upon us. It is actually easing us. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Allah wants for you ease. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah does not want difficulty. This is what the Quran is telling us. And so, I can recall entering a store in North America, and Muslims had owned that store, and the young people in the family were working in the store. We were going toward the time of Salatul Asr. It was a hot day, and alhamdulillah, we were fasting in a strong way. But somehow those young people did not understand the beauty of feeling hunger, the beauty and the importance of feeling thirst. And so they sat around and, oh my God, it's time, when is the fasting going to end? And they looked upon it as though it was the end of their life. This is Sawm al-Awam. This is the level of a fast. It is an animal struggle. It is a level where the person is only struggling against their desires. In many Muslim countries, Muslim men in particular want their meals, they want their futur, they want their breakfast, they want their lunch on time, they want their dinner on time. And when Asr comes and a man is hungry, in many countries we say a hungry man is an angry man. And so many Muslims, not understanding the beauty of al-jua, of hunger, what hunger does to the human being, that hunger actually reminds you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get caught up in this feeling, and the dizziness and the tiredness actually makes them become angry. This is a misunderstanding, and this is the Sawm al-Awam, and we need to be able to raise our level out of this level of fast. We studied this, and when you look at North American society and European society, and now in the global world, where the upper class or people with the ability to provide food for themselves constantly, they look at food as a way of life. And in some cases, and it may be hard to believe, but in some parts of the world, a person eats 7 meals per day. Now, how could we say 7 meals? He starts off eating his breakfast. From breakfast, he goes to work. And in North America and Europe especially, he takes a coffee break. And the amount of food that he eats in the coffee break is equivalent to a meal in many of the third world countries. That's number 2. Then lunchtime comes. He takes his lunch. Number 3. When he returns home from work, or when the children return from school, the first place they go to is the refrigerator. So they take a snack. And in many countries, the size of that snack is the size of a meal for poorer people in other parts of the world. Number 4. Then dinner time comes. He eats his dinner. After dinner, he stretches himself, and after watching television for a few hours, he now brings out food to watch television with. And the size of the food, the amount of nourishment taken in watching television in some countries constitute a whole meal. That's number 6. And some people get up in the middle of the night, they walk in their sleep, and they eat food. 7 potential meals for a day. Now imagine a person who takes 7 meals in a day. And imagine the habit that they have to deal with now. And so it is a struggle for them. They don't realize that what they have done to their body is that they are constantly feeding their desires. They are constantly working on a lower level. An animal struggles within its existence for food. When we look at the life of a predator, the predator is an animal that kills for his prey. And so you will see a predator get up in the morning. The predator doesn't care about the climate. They're not looking at the stock market. The predator doesn't care about how many vehicles, how many cars there are in the highway. They don't care what the weather is in New York or in London. The predator is looking for an animal to kill. So its movements is based upon food. Its whole lifestyle is based upon gaining food. It stalks its prey. Even how it fashions its body, the place where it sleeps, how it moves around in its environment is all based upon eating food. So the predator is a virtual killing machine. Its life is based upon eating food. That is Sawm al-Awam. When the person bases their life on eating their food, when they think about their coffee break, they think about their lunch, they plan ahead for the food that's at home, they call home for their dinner, they prepare their TV snacks, and they get up unconsciously and walk to the refrigerator and eat food in the middle of the night, they have reached the level of a predator. If we look at the insects also will build their home based upon the attaining of food. The spider builds its home, the ankabut, and it is a very simple home, but the home is based upon insects falling into it, and therefore the spider is able to eat. So the very home of the spider is based upon eating food, sustaining its life through fulfilling its desires. Animals will also migrate for water. They will move from one section of the country to another section based upon the change in the climate or based upon the availability of lake water or river water. So their life is based upon the movements towards drinking, because through that drink they are able to sustain themselves. Sexuality, the animal level, the sexuality becomes in many cases the essence of the life of the individual. The drones, the males that are living within the beehive or the ant nest, their life is based upon their sexuality. Their main job in the nest is to get the queen pregnant. So therefore, sexuality is their mission in life. People today, wal-iyadhu billah, have actually based their lives upon their sexuality. And we see within this dunya, in this world, temptations where people will literally move to a city based on the possibility of being involved in a sexual act. They will actually hire a woman for a job based upon her body shape. They will judge the character of an individual based upon the amount of weight that they have in their body or whether they can wear certain tight jeans or tight clothing. It all goes back to sexuality. That is an animal function. That is the awam. That is where the level of the struggle is in the very basic nature of the individual himself. Sawm al-awam is the basis. It is the animal level, the struggle for food, the struggle for drinking water, the struggle for sustaining human life through sexuality. But we need to take it to a higher stage. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, there are many people who fast and get nothing from this fast but jua. There is nothing but hunger. What was he saying to us? He was saying, there's a higher level than the hunger. He said, there are many people who stand in the night and they make their prayers, but all they get is sleeplessness. There is something more than just standing for their prayer. It's the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to seek this in the month of Ramadan. We need to take it to another stage. We need to look beyond the physical struggle. Yes, it is the basis of our Islam, but if we can look above it, then we'll find that we turn off the systems in our body. And we don't feel as hungry as before. We don't feel as thirsty as before. We don't feel the need for sexuality. And we raise to the angel of malaika. May Allah bless us to be angels or higher than the level of angels in this month of Ramadan. I leave you with this thought. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.